Lux Anguis here. So this is the story of me going without my phone, basically, for my initiatory purpose of crossing the abyss. So for me it is very important to give you all of the informations that have led me to these conclusions. Where to begin? My life generally from its beginning to young adult was very chaotic, very, for me, in some sense, deeply traumatizing. I have, like many of you guys who are going to watch this and consider its informations, like attracts like. So I think some of you will find solace and home and resonance when I'm speaking about it. That many people who pursue the more so darker arts or dark occultism for the purpose of self-empowerment has experienced in their life huge periods where you have been undermined, where you have been deeply disrespected, and not only from some other people or from the system, but also from your own family, the one who should actually look after you, watch after you, care about you, help you become stronger, more powerful, more wiser. But no, instead of that, most of our families kinda work on fear, misunderstanding of being inauthentic, being impulsive, being, you know what I mean, anything but considerate. The problem is, I think potential people who are becoming parents when they're watching this video is please, and I mean it 1000% seriously. If you're not taking it seriously, I'm making a damn spell where my invisible hand will reach out to your damn throat and just give you a healthy, in good old German, Watsche, you know, give you a healthy whooping, as one would like to say. Um, that please, before you judge your children, before you impose anything upon the children or don't understand the children, please take your time, listen to them, and ask them questions and converse with them, talk to them, talk to them, open up your mouth, talk to them, question their things, why they're feeling that way, why they're feeling this way, what are they thinking, what are their emotions, why they did this, why they did that, like in a neutral, understandable manner. Of course, everybody has their days, even children, but when I'm just looking back upon my experiences, nobody of my parents really took their time to rationally and on a fundamentally healthy level ask me questions and seriously listening to my answers, and and not being all the time reactive if the answer isn't like something they expect me to answer, you know that instead of just emotionally overreacting and suppressing your child just because something doesn't run with you, just do your best to neutrally listen to them, give them understanding, keyword understanding, that both of you equally understand each other, or at least do some efforts to understand each other, And because this understanding, the wisdom, the knowledge that game comes from it is priceless. It's gold worth. It's very powerful. The understanding of situations transforms in situationship in of themselves. So please, all potential parents, listen to your kids. Ask them questions. Do not be overreactive. Do not be judgmental, like in this very, very toxic manner. And give them a healthy advice, not in a negative emotional state, but in a understanding and a state which was not honestly 1/3 of my life was not there, you know like 2/3 of my life wasn't there, and it majorly traumatized me and made me to the person I am, which I am glad that it happened, how it happened. Honestly, I really do. Because I have been able to, I'm able to transmute all of this negativity, all of this shit, all of this darkness into my own power, understanding, wisdom, knowledge, inspiration, But I don't know if this can do anyone, honestly, because I've put in huge amounts of efforts in my practices, in my studies, in my self-work, that I don't know that many people are willing to put in. So please do not unnecessarily traumatize your kids. Do not do that. You are producing a basically a failure, in a sense that they fail themselves, they give up on themselves, they slack off, they abuse drugs because they cannot handle the pain. Please don't do that. Of course, it is easier said than done. You must do the shadow work, you must do their own trauma integration. Without that, you will always push your own unconscious traumas onto your children. It's like that. It's like a mechanical thing that is happening. And it was the same for me. So, yeah, my life was, I mean, it still is, but it isn't anymore this, how do I say that, life sucking, depressing, self destructive life anymore. Things change due to me putting in an effort, due to me having the willingness to let go of old things and to transform myself and to push for myself and others' evolution. And yeah, but due to my traumatizing um, childhood and experiences, and even my young adulthood, because nobody understood me, nobody on a fundamental level tried to understand me or try to work with me and expand with me. I was kind of forced to stand on my own, to kind of learn to live socially on my own self, with my own self, and was forced literally to live in a reality that doesn't like me, doesn't want to understand me, doesn't want to interact with me. So yeah, because of my level back then, I wasn't really able to handle the resulting negativity that comes from it, that results from it. So the only thing that really resonated at that time was either, and still is, magic, occultism, spirituality. It's not like it's only a coping mechanism. No, it's deeper than that, because this passion for it started at even a very, very young age, around 10 years. So this is like a part of me, actually, but I think magic, spirituality, occultism can be sort of a healthy coping mechanism sometimes, but it shouldn't be approached as a coping mechanism. Magic, spirituality, occultism is here as a practice, as a lifestyle for you to grow, which it is. But some people transmute it into a coping mechanism, which can also end up unhealthily for you, you know. But yeah, but there came two main things or three main things that kinda allowed me to forget all of this negativity on my mind, on my emotions, which was my phone. The phone where I literally am making right now my video on. And it's not officially, I don't think it's officially an addiction. I don't know yet that they are taking addictions of the phone and social media as real yet, but phone addiction is nothing, no other than a cigarette addiction or alcohol addiction without, of course, the so-called negative consequences, the bodily negative consequences. But honestly, I do still experience that there are very negative biophysical and psychological detriments of overusing the phone and all of these devices and stuff. They're still like, it's still like a drug. Like there are side effects, there are unhealthy, toxic things that results from it. That is, I don't believe it's any different than use of drugs. Honestly, it makes no difference actually. And the only thing that didn't negate me, that didn't judge me, that didn't push me away, that didn't um, misunderstood me, that basically gift me all the things that I searched for and still is the phone. So on a young adult years to late adult years, I developed a bad habit of overusing the phone, of going on YouTube, um, infusing into my head endless types of information just to listen to something, and being like an empty vessel all the time. It goes the left ear in and the right ear out, and just filling myself up with loads of informations and loads of escaping reality, loads of films. And just, I don't wanted to see reality. I don't want to fear my negativity. I don't want to fear my um situationships. So the phone was like, for cigarette smokers, like, I right now need now 10 minutes of a smoking pause, which is all right, but it's still unhealthy. But it ended up in that I had binge days where I literally laid in my bed like a damn corpse, like I was paralyzed and rotting in bed and just watching endlessly YouTube videos or YouTube shorts or TikToks or Instagrams, and just to flee reality and to rot away. And this was sometimes very much so needed, because I have so many traumas, bad memories, and bad emotions coming up that were very intense for me, that I couldn't handle if I was consciously aware. So I needed something to become empty. I needed something to escape this feeling, basically speaking. you know and the phone was the best one. Yeah. So yeah, I was heavily addicted to my phone. And don't get me wrong. And don't get me wrong. It's not like I will be this perfect creature afterwards, or like this perfect enlightened creature afterwards. Not yet. No, I'm making this video actually. I'm right now in the stages, so to say. I'm right now in the ringer. I'm right now in the transformation stages of my initiatory journey through the abyss. I'm right now in it, and I only can use my phone for magical slash study slash work, and I discipline myself very intensely with the guidance of Lord Belial to only do that. I only use my phone for work, study, and and magic. Nothing more, nothing less, and no communication. It's like it was intrinsically, it was guided into my subconscious, to my conscious, that I do not converse online with other people, typically through WhatsApp or Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok. This, I do not use it for communication with other people, with other beings. Sometimes, of course, I need to use these apps for work related stuff, because I must do that. Like, this is what I okay. But other than to just distract myself and too much entertain myself with empty stuff, has been intrinsically made prohibited in my initiatory trial. So you just can imagine, like, I saw in every second day or day the number 333 on signal plates, all while I am conversing with my beloved persons and person, like, all the damn time when I thought about this person or these persons, a car drove by with the sign of 333 on it. And let me say you, 333 is in gematria the numerological value of both abyssal deities. One is Shugal, the sephirotic abyssal watcher, and the other is Coronzon, the clipothic abyssal watcher. And I, of course, am now forced to work with, not force, it is out of my free will, work with Shugal, and of course it's abyssal archangel and archangelic ruler Uriel. So of course Belial also is a abysmal ruler. Belial is also a gatekeeper of Daf, actually. So working with Belial in this case of any addictions, becoming undisciplined and letting go of this false ego, where you feel like you need this stuff, is very, I'm telling you, it's very beneficial. You need to do that. Like, Belial is literally the key. It's literally like one of the keys, one of the major keys you need in sephirotic and or clipothic abysmal initiations, because Belial, let me tell you, Belial is no joke. Belial is seriously evolving and empowering of your being. Seriously. He wants you to be your own master, and he pushes you in these kind of ways to be like austeric, to be disciplined, to have strong willpower, to be ruthless, to be a warrior minded, to be impeccable, to be active, letting go all of these false parts of yourself. Like, Belial pushes you to the damn limits that you really need to reach in crossing the abyss, that it will push you so much to the limits that it breaks your sense of self and your ego and your perspective of certain things, so much so that the transformation of Shugal and or Uriel can completely commence itself within you, And let me tell you also something other very, very important that I think not many people are conscious about in this abysmal initiations. It's not about overcoming Shugal. It's not about being afraid of Shugal or Korans. It's not about um, destroying them or pushing them away. No, it's no different than the other entities you've interacted with so far on each sphere of integration. Of course, they are to be respected. In some sense, of course, they cause fear, but fear is no good in this initiation. You need to embrace Shugal, not to be feared or to be fearful about Shugal. You must embrace his force. You must embrace his guidance, his teachings, his essences within you. Because he is also a part of you. He's also a part of this whole ordeal. He's like also an important essence you need to installate and to integrate within you. Of course, you can approach differently this initiation. You don't need to do it my way. But what I've experienced so far is like I have only gotten the best results in my initiatory trials by embracing and integrating each gatekeeper. And so it's no different with Shugal. I embrace and integrate this gatekeeper in my own system and learn from it, understand it, want to be guided from it, and let him take the parts of my ego, of myself, that hinders you to embrace the higher triads. Because Korans and Shugal, their only mission here is actually it's like a purgatory. You are thrown into purgatory, into the abyss in this state. Where, for example, like I do believe that there are universal experiences happening there, but they still have their own individual taste or like picture to them. Each abysmal crossing will have universal experiences, but still will have their own intrinsic specialized situationships for each person approaching it. And in this case, for me, it was like all of these aforementioned bad impulses that I had, be it the excessive phone use, be it distracting myself sexually with so many other things, escaping reality and negating myself, like, being a stinky asshole to your own self in an unhealthy manner. Like these things were heavily strengthened when I went into the abyss. These things were very much so pushed up. But this is Shugal's working. Shugal is literally in Quran. They are like these typical Christian devils that literally they do seduce you. They do want to distract you with these aforementioned so-called pleasures, which are actually poisons for your progress, for your soul, for your spirit, and they only gift unto you the numbing angel. Interesting. um Numbing agent. It's like a narcotic. These things are like narcosis. You go into a coma when you embrace these things. You die off when you embrace these things. Not in a healthy manner. You die off. You become shared. You become empty by you embracing these aforementioned devilish enticements. But this has like two things in them. When these devilish enticements are happening, and you kind of lose the control of yourself, it's like a fire you must go through. you know it's like it's differently actually. You can only transform this situationship if you take your time in these situations and actually close your eyes and feel them. Feel them. For real, like these transformations so far have allowed me to build up like a distance from me going there. It's like it creates for you a space where you can become conscious and actually think about them and feel about them. What is going on inside of me right now that is pushing me to do this behavior? And when you are in the behavior in of themselves, the energies, the unconscious energies are active in these situations. And then you can fully embrace the behavior, like experience it. And sorry, there was something in my eye. And go into the feeling of it and just embracing it fully. Do not negate yourself, embracing it fully. Go through the fire, go to the fire of self destruction. And what will remain is your authentic feeling of authentic self. And this is like the mission of Crons and Sugar. Like they will seduce you, they will bring you these aforementioned things into the surface, make it stronger for you to fully embrace it, ultimately for you to destroy it, to let it go fully, and to embrace the actual refined, true, and pure aspects of a self, which is the soul that is to be transformed into a numinous, more divine and higher being. The crossing of the abyss into the high triads is a transformation from a normal person to a superhuman person in a sense. It allows you to interact with things supernaturally or also on a mundane plane that you previously couldn't because you didn't open up the internal and external gateways for it. So you need to be cleansed. You need to be a better vessel. Kabbalah is also in some sense to receive, like it's a word for to receive. You need to be the perfected vessel to receive the higher energies. And it is what is happening there in a daf in the abyss. Daf in the abyss, it also is also to be said that it combines all of the specters, all of the sephirotic and or clipothic sphere energies, planetary energies into one. You get this divine forbidden knowledge, you bite in this forbidden apple and become more and more individualized, deified in a sense. But this can't happen if you cannot embrace the higher aspects of it. For me, when I'm speaking about it, it creates this picture of ancient Egypt where there is the god figure, the head of an eagle or the head of a god, the body of a human, and the feet of an animal. It's the same with the Kabbalistic tree. The below is more animalistic, the middle is more humanistic, and above is more godly. You must embrace all of three aspects. If you just embrace the lower aspects of the animal and human, you will never reach the magnum opus. You will never reach the higher work. You will never become a successful black or generally a successful magician. So hence, these lower parts needs to be chipped off, refined, and let go of, which are actually hindrance for you embracing your more so diviner and godly self. So this is my perspective and honest gnosis I've gotten so far, walking through the abyss and experiencing Shugal so far and the Archangel Uriel. It's a very important step to not be afraid of. Do not be afraid of it. Do not be scared. Do not run away. Do not try to fight it or destroy it, but actually learn to integrate it because it's no different. It's just, of course, it's honestly the most difficult initiations you could ever go through. It is, honestly, it is. But instead of fighting against it, making pointless resistance or trying to destroy it, which actually it will just only destroy you more, because it's actually like a deep mirror where you become nullified in a sense. The you that is like not fit for it will become nullified. And the more you put up a fight and want to overcome Sugar or Ronson, the more they overcome actually you. So it's it's very pointless. It's very pointless to try to overcome or fight against them. It doesn't work like that. You must let them do their thing and you yours. Which is like, it's not like you are not, before I end this video, just to remind you, you are not the lead dancer here. Your right now ego that thinks he's like the macho man, or I don't know what kind of dude or king or etc. This, of course, this is possible. This is like this can be realized, but in the abyss, you are not anything of it. Of course, you are a part of the dance, but the dancer, the lead figure of this dance, is Sugar or Ronson. They are dancing with you. They are dancing with you. You must dance with them. Like it's a tactful dance you do with them. When the music stops, when the dance stops, you wake up to the other side. And I don't know what the fuck happened. But you must dance with them, regardless. You cannot go out of the tact. It's like a tactful swing. It's like when you're pulled away from the shores, from very powerful waves. You cannot fight the waves. You must go with the waves, because these waves will sooner or later drag you again to the shores. Because it's like a tide, it's an invisible tide that pulls you there. So it's like the dance that you do with these beings. They dance with you. You go with their tact, you go with their lead. And voila, you end up on the other side of the higher triads. But your dominance, your I am this, I am that you think you could decide how it will be danced in this time period, is very unproductive and detrimental to you. Just saying. And yeah, I think for now, for this information that I've right now gathered, it's good enough. Other than that, I hope this will very much so help you on a path, on a self-evolution and self-empowerment identification. And I'm sure we will see and hear us surely again. So, as I am making this video is so about pretty much at my own divinatory set at the end of my initiation through the abyss. And all in all, of course, this isn't, the most intense abyss of them all, which is like the Glypophic abyss, for example, or any other culture's abyss. But still, it still is one of the most challenging experiences as a initiate goes through, especially as a complete beginner, which in my case, fortunately, I am not a complete beginner. I already passed the abyss 2 times in the past. For whatever reasons I needed to do that. So the abysmal energies aren't something that I am not accustomed to, or that I am pretty much so adept in handling and in experiencing it and in transforming it, integrating all of this good stuff, integration, exploration, releasing, healing through the abyss, or abysmal energies. Like these things are not something new to me or my consciousness. So hence, it wasn't as difficult for me to experience. Actually, it became somewhat a beautiful experience at the same time. Of course, it has its phases in these initiations where you basically break down and cry a lot, or whatever happens on a journey, what you need to process through your subconsciousness, which most likely will be traumatic and very self-transformative in nature, but you will come through it very, very transformed. It doesn't matter if it was for you difficult, it doesn't matter if it was for you very easy or more easier to handle, you will become transformed through this experience regardless. So when I'm reflecting back, and even to now, what has changed within me, like I've been led to so many damn knowledge, like it was crazy, literally. Like every day I have been driven to pursue so many books and people and teachers and masters and people who really know what they're talking about, and who have been much more longer in this field of spirituality, occultism, magic. And I've been led to some individuals where I've had been watching them a very long time ago, and right now I had a re-emergence of them for whatever reasons, and these reasons were made apparently to me because they had knowledge, key knowledge to my ascent, evolution, and self-empowerment, but not only for my own regards, but also for the people I need to share it with. So yeah, like Da'as, the abyss, Da'af is also known to be knowledge, or hidden knowledge, or forbidden knowledge. You're biting into this apple, this forbidden apple in the old legends of Adam and Eve of the Garden of Eden, where when they bite into the apple, basically they get out of the Garden of Eden into the Garden of Edom, or like the garden which is basically um, not exactly an inversion of it, but we could say the real world, because these individuals who partake into this forbidden knowledge, they become individualized, they become more so crystallized as a individual, as an individual soul, as an individual being, so to say. You crystallize it basically. Hence, other gods, or like the overarching god of this particular um, religion, so to say, or paradigm, could not accept such souls because they become individualized, they become more so of themselves. Hence, they cannot be anymore, in a more darker way, said consumed or controlled or hold it naive, because they know the forces of evil and good, which is basically negative energy and positive energy. What God, source, or any individual god out there in any pantheon actually rules over, or deeply understands and deeply embodies their positive and negative charge, because having both charges allows you to create power, thus energy, thus magic in creation, manipulation, etc. All of this good stuff we want to achieve, pursue, and get our dirty little hands on. So, yeah, partaking in this forbidden knowledge is a part of this initiation. I do think so. Like, I do, on my own experience, think so. You will be led to particular kinds of knowledges, or not even that, actually, not even that. No, not only that. Let's say that, not only that. The previous stages from Marcus to Chesed, they basically were like a building block for your consciousness, for your awareness to actually be able to understand, to consume, to get the knowledge that awaits you in the abyss. Let's think about that. This, because that is the reason why it's very important to have not this modern consumer mindset, but actually a profound, masterful, like impeccable warrior spirit, um, impeccable warrior spirit, and ruthless mindset that you are willing to put in the work that it actually needs from you. That means there is no skipping ahead. There is no skipping some steps. There is no deluding yourself of believing, yes, I can do all of it in just 1 month and I gain all the gnosis, all the knowledge. No. This will require work and time to actually experience and integrate its teachings. And it's like a building block. The 7 stages before are like a building block that allows you to actually pass or integrate or understand the abysmal, the Asic knowledge of forbidden knowledge. Without these building blocks, you are unable to understand, integrate, pass the abyss and its knowledge. And you do not even have the cultivated spiritual power, experience, knowledge to actually handle and or direct these integrated or these represented energies and powers and knowledge that this stage of evolution initiation will have for you. So hence why it's important to do these 7 stages and the little stages in between. Me personally, I am just doing it completely classically, so to say. Like I am doing these 13 steps actually, because there's like Ein Sof Aur, Ein Sof and Ein. There's like 3 hidden ways where you could actually also initiate yourself into. And I'm also planning on doing them, and afterwards I'm just doing the pathways and hidden pathways and extra pathways, because I'm this guy. I want to put in the deeper work, because I personally believe or think so that so many of us underestimate, especially black magic community, underestimate the powers of the Sephiros, or also the light side. So hence why I find it very important to explore it, because this is like a fundamental building block upon later on more so dark initiations, and it's everything that I needed to say. Now God bless, and we shall see and hear us surely again. Lux Anguis here. So this is probably the last episode of me explaining the journey through and after the abyss. So what I also find very important to share with you, dear ladies and gentlemen, is what also happens intrinsically within you when you are starting to approach the abyss or the abysmal crossing is, for example, it sounds strange, but for whatever reasons or another, what can happen is that previously, if you hadn't had the time to be with your own self, for some strange reason or another, this will prepare for you to have such time. What can it look like? So I also find very important to make people aware when they are approaching such initiations in a rather more a serious commitment that they must prepare themselves to let things go. Even though it is the tree of life, the sephiros, it still has an underlying principle that is very similar to the other side of this tree, which is the klipa of the tree of death. Still, many are really underestimating even the sacrificial aspects of tree of life. There are still things you need to sacrifice and to offer away for you to embrace the higher energies of the Sephiros. So that means approaching the clip-off or any such initiations entails from you the willingness and the preparedness to let certain things go, especially things of your own perception, of your own self, of some bad habits, of some addictions, some relationships that are essentially not in the best interest of your evolution and by you successfully finishing your initiations. So, especially in an initiation such as the crossing of the abyss, which is known to be the most difficult one of them all, is in this time period, the letting go of stuff is the most intense. So how can this look like? For example, if previously you didn't had the time for yourself to properly process the upcoming emotions, upcoming sacrifices, upcoming self-developments and self-improvements, etc. What can happen is, for example, you had a job. It could be a well-paid job. It could be a good job. It could even be something you're learning. For whatever reasons or another, you will get let go of, or you get ill, that you are forced to stay at home, or some strange phenomena happens where you're forced to be with yourself, if you know what I mean. So yeah, it's was strange by me when, like, my other workplace where I was the last time was very Geborah. It was very in association with Mars, with criminality, with bad people, with violence, with violent places, etc. And in Chesed, it, like, I stopped working there and was then introduced to another individual which embodies the planet Jupiter very much so, of wealth, awareness, luck, prosperity, expansion, business. And I learned from this mentor a certain period of time and also was pulled in a clipo for certain reasons, whatever, and then I was pulled back to finally approach the abyss. And in this abyss approaching, these spaces in between, like I said, of you going after your usual behaviors that are not in your best interest, and by you pursuing your evolution become much more bigger. Your awareness becomes much more bigger. Your own nature becomes much more bigger, and that also means the darker aspect of your nature. For example, if you are addicted to whatever reasons to anything, this addiction will become stronger in the abyss, will become powerful in the abyss for you to finally extremely let it go and destroy it, or it will destroy you. So that simply that simply means that the abyss will prepare you one way or another for very deep internal change. And it is not like it does it to you, you does it with it together. The process must be approached as teamwork together, you know. It's not like in abyss they will ask you if you know what I mean. When they beings within you and outside of you know you are ready to cross it, you're ready to do it, they will do their program on you. You know, ready or not, you will do it, you will achieve it. And it comes across a bit forceful, but at the end of it, you will know that the only thing that holded you back, or the only thing that kind of hold it with its claws onto your shoulders and said like, no, no, don't go forward, was just aspects of your own ego, of your own self, that were just from the old you, they were just from the unevolved you, they were just use or aspects of yourself that were in actuality not in alignment, not in your best interest, and these had to be conscious of and let go of what will happen sooner or later. And if I'm reflecting back on my journey through this whole abysmal, yeah, traveling, it was a mixture of experiencing certain things on a physical as well as on a dream world, like when I slept, when I dreamed, I was most of the time just lucid dreaming. And when I dreamed lucidly, I went into tunnels. It's like it's strangely to describe. I went into dark tunnelways and dark pathways that was just dark, just complete darkness, complete abysmal darkness. And in this time period, what's also very interesting is most people, when they're approaching the abyss, when I talk to them, they completely lose connection or contact to their spirit guides, to their gods, to their angels, or whatever it may be. And they become totally reliant on their own sense of guidance. And in my case, what also was very interesting, my guidance was mostly led by my own self, but at the same times, there was still other guidances at my side that were not like supernatural or were not like ultra demonic or angelic. It were actually my family members. It's strange to describe it. Some like past deceased animals that loved me and I loved them, and they guided me, protected me. And there were some deceased ancestors. There were some family members that were not here anymore, and they instead protected me and guided me also on a path. It was very, very interesting that the beings that actually care about you or love you or do truly want your best interest, that they come through, that they really come through and try to help you, try to love you, protect you. And yeah, I experienced that family members, very close family members or familiar people or individuals, they will most likely help you cross the abyss or protect you at least in some way or another. It's very interesting to observe that. Not only that, what I have found also very interesting, that when you are approaching the abyss and crossing it, you will get across living and non-living people who are stuck in the abyss. You just must be aware of like the tree of life and death is just a representation of certain natural and supernatural forces and natures and situationships that play inside and outside of us. This tree reflects some um, realities that is happening around us and within us. So I also saw some individuals, very known and very unknown, and also some of my close friends also, who were close friends to me at a certain time of my life, that are stuck in the abyss. And it wasn't only by me, like I conversed with other, I consider evolved magicians. When they started to cross the abyss, in their case the clipothic abyss, they saw individuals other brethren of them stuck in the abyss and consumed by the abyss and needed help in the abyss. So it's also very interesting. You must be very careful in the abyss. So there are some spirits or entities or living and non-living who are stuck there, and they will try to get your help, which is not wrong. If you can give them help, give them the help. But some of them are like drowning in the abyss, and they will hold on to anything or everything or anybody who comes near them, and they will drag you with them down into the abyss. So I'm keeping it private. I'm keeping it private what type of person or individual non-living this individual is for a long time now dead, but it's a very well-known individual actually, who has been stuck in the abyss, and I basically helped this individual to cross the abyss with me, or like took this individual spirit out of the abyss. So you must be aware there will be some spirits, very popular spirits, like even very popular people and even non-popular people, even some people who you know in your family, in your friends group, in society, etc. There are certain individuals who are stuck in the abyss and who seek help because the abyss is literally like a hell. It's hell-like for people or for spirits who did not have the opportunity to consciously integrate and work with the abyss. So it is a hell-like, it's a hell-like state actually. So be aware if this for you the first run, do your best to avoid extras in the abyss. Just focus on processing stuff, being safe, being guided by your own godly self, because after Tiferes or after Sunsphere, you should have connection to your own higher self or godly self. You must rely on the godly self to guide and protect you, mostly. But yeah, be prepared to be focused, undistracted, and you must be willing to sacrifice and be willing to feel it all through. Without that, you will become one of the dwellers of the abyss, stuck in the abyss, with no way out other than to cling under other individuals who try to cross it out of desperation. And it's not a state you want to be in. No, because I saw these spirits who were stuck in the abyss, or who were consumed by the abyss, and it's really, I don't wish that fate even to my worst enemies. I don't wish that fate to anyone being stuck there. So be aware, in the abyss there will be denizens, spirits living and non-living, consciousness that are stuck there and desperately seek a beacon of light or something or someone to help them, or which I did because I had the capacities for that. It's not like I'm a beginner. It's not like I don't know what I do. I very much know what I do, and I just helped this particular individual out of it because it just felt right for me to do that, and it was a part of my initiation, so to say. So yeah, other than that, before I forget that to mention is, in the crossing of the abyss, what also is happening there, your own psychic abilities, actually, in my case, it can happen also for you, will become exponentially empowered. Whatever your psychic or supernatural abilities are, they become empowered, heightened, and sensibilized. What I mean by that, you will become more sensitive to subtle energies in general. So if something is for you icky or not incongruence to your evolution, it will feel for you, and you will naturally start, because of your sensitivity, start to avoid it and start to refocus your focus on the things that actually help you. So we become more like your psychic abilities, your supernatural abilities, and of such, they become empowered as fuck. Actually, they become very strong. Your black flame becomes very strong. Your numinous potential becomes very strong and empowered with it. I had major manifestations and results in my usual craft workings that I do, usual prayers and evocations that I do, these spirits and these entities that I've called in these time periods, they manifest themselves very powerful, like a solitary light manifest and spirit manifest and energies and your vision and your spiritual abilities become very powerful, magnified in the process of crossing the abyss successfully. But it doesn't mean it's the same for you. You know, like I said, the initiations have a universal touch to them, but still it will have an individual taste to it. it's it's like there is a universal experience happening that is very similar to each individual approaching it, but it still will have for each individual approaching it its own individualized taste or challenge or tests to it, so to say, to a certain degree, if you know what I mean. So yeah, don't take everything what I'm saying 10 out of 10 to be complete true for your own self. Take it like with a pinch of salt as inspiration rather, and that you should use this energy, use this momentum out of the inspiration to move forward on the path. Other than that, Naga bless, and we shall see and hear us surely again.